Global pollution is certainly a major source of concern the world over. From India to Qatar, groups are organizing rallies and even marathons to raise awareness on how to safeguard our planet from the dire consequences of pollution. Some race to stay healthy, while others race for the fun of it. This group in Nevada have staged another kind of race for the love of technology. And that's not all. A British woman who lives in Canada flies purely for the love of adventure.
Concerned citizens and authorities organized several programs across India in a bid to create awareness about the rising pollution levels. Rising levels of pollution across India have set off alarm bells, and the matter became a subject of major focus after the World Health Organization last year said the country's capital, New Delhi, had the worst air quality in the world. It also said that 13 of the world's most polluted cities happened to be in India. Singh said his government would undertake several steps to create awareness on the issue. In a bid to curb pollution, India's government recently came up with many measures, including implementation of stricter emission norms for vehicles. Delhi government introduced an odd-even car rationing policy on a trial basis for a fortnight beginning January the 1st to curb the rising levels of pollution. Meanwhile, an Indian court has ruled that the Delhi government's odd-even car rotationing policy aimed at curbing the rising pollution levels would continue till January the 15th. It comes days after the High Court of Delhi asked the authorities why it was necessary to continue the plan for more than a week in view of the inconvenience caused to the people due to the ambitious measure. The plan, scheduled from January the 1st to January the 15th, allows odd and even numbered private cars to ply on Delhi roads on alternate days except Sundays. The government believes the pollution level at Delhi has gone down after the implementation of the car rationing scheme. A fine of 2,000 rupees will be imposed on offenders, and though vehicles will not be seized, they'll be asked to go back home. In order to ensure that the car rationing initiative has a smooth run, 3,000 buses have been added to the fleet of Delhi Transport Corporation, and the frequency of the metro trains has been increased. About 200 teams of police personnel have been deployed across the city to find errant drivers. VVIPs, police, paramilitary forces, emergency services like ambulances, fire brigade, women drivers and two-wheelers would be exempt from the new rule. Rising levels of pollution across India have set off alarm bells, and the matter became a subject of major focus after World Health Organization last year said the country's capital, New Delhi, had the worst air quality in the world. In Nevada, the race is in the air. A group of drone hobbyists in Las Vegas, Nevada, challenged each other in a drone racing competition. A firefighter, Sean Taylor, won the race flying his drone through a complicated 3D course, which most participants found challenging.
I feel like I'm flying. It's once you put the FPV goggles on, you're inside of it, and that's it for me. That got me hooked.
The Federal Aviation Administration, responding to heightened concerns about rogue drone flights near airports, unveiled a rule requiring drone hobbyists as young as 13 years old to register their unmanned aircraft. Authorities say the new online registry will require current drone owners to register by February the 19th, while anyone who acquires aircraft after December the 21st would need to register before their first outdoor flight. After registering, drone owners will receive an FAA identification number that they must display on aircraft weighing between 0.55 pounds and 55 pounds. And Canadian-based British adventurer Tracy Curtis Taylor touched down in Darwin after a 20-day solo flight in a biplane from England. Curtis Taylor's trip paid homage to aviation pioneer Amy Johnson's famous flight in 1930, the first female pilot to fly solo from England to Australia. Leaving England on the 1st of October and flying a Boeing 1942 Stearman some 13,000 miles, Curtis Taylor flew across 23 countries.
You know, and that's why you do it, to fly something like this, low level, halfway around the world, seeing all the most iconic landscapes, geology, vegetation. It's just the best view in the world. So maybe the best adventure in the world. Very few people get to fly it like I've just done.
Speaking to local media on her arrival in Darwin, where Johnson first touched down all those years ago, Curtis Taylor was quick to pay tribute to her predecessor.
Eastern Europe, coming out over the Carpathian, trying to get over the Carpathian Mountains, and then just flying in heavy rain, low cloud on the deck. I mean, it's like being one of the airmail pilots back in the 1930s. And a lot of them were killed. Fantastic. Oh, that's lovely. That is so lovely.
Johnson died in 1941 at age 37 after her plane crashed into the near-freezing waters of the Thames estuary in England. Local media reported that most of the plane's technology dated back to the 1920s, with a simple stick and rudder for controls and an open cockpit exposing Curtis Taylor to the elements.
So as you can see, it's fairly devastating on the skin and the hair and so forth. So it's tiring. It's really tiring. It's the noise, the vibration, the exposure.
According to Curtis Taylor's website, following the completion of the journey, the Boeing's chairman will be shipped to America and flown across the United States to complete a world flight later this year.
And some Nigerian students in London are just days away from being evicted from their university campus and boarding flights back home to Nigeria. Sadly, this development is just days after the state governorship elections from their home state in Bayelsa. They had hoped these would save them from being out of school. My colleague in London, Karen Chambers, caught up with some of them.
Meet Anna. She left her home in Bayelsa State to gain a master's degree at Middlesex University in the UK. But the dream turned sour when just 4 months before her studies would have been complete, she learned that the Bayelsa State Scholarship Board had not paid her £12,000 tuition fee, and there was nothing left to pay for her upkeep in the UK.
The response they keep giving is that government has not given them money. So what I'm waiting for now is for the Home Office to write to me and to school for me to know what next to do, because apparently if they once the school writes to the Home Office, it means they're telling the Home Office we're no longer sponsoring this girl.
Anna and some 30 Bayelsa students say that the sponsorship board have left their education in jeopardy, and for some, they now find themselves homeless abroad.
We've not been paid for years now. So that has really affected our studies, because you can't study without money if you're thinking about tuition fee all the time, and then this tuition fee, it's not something you can afford.
It got to a point where we all got tired of relying on anyone back home and calling them. So we now said, okay, since the situation is getting so bad, we should actually do a protest.
A father of the state and a father of his children, we are stranded here.
To raise awareness, they took their fight to the Nigerian High Commission in London, protesting for some 7 hours that the sponsorship agency back home had been ignoring their letters and their calls.
We're suffering. We're almost at the verge of being deported. We're asking
the embassy did write on their behalf. Anna says there's been no reply.
Some of us are PhD students, cannot graduate.
The issue is also affecting some Bayelsa students studying for PhDs. Some have not had a single payment since April 2014.
And so the alarming pattern continues. Nigerian students find themselves in dire and degrading circumstances. Unless funding arrives in the coming days and weeks, dozens of Bayelsa students will have no choice but to return home and up to their necks in debt as a result of their time in the United Kingdom.
You are Bayelsa students, leave you.
For those who